Hi, I've just finished Rachel Joyce's new book, and it is called The Homemade God, and it came out on the 17th of this month, so it's only really not been out that long at all. Rachel Joyce is somebody whose books I always pick up. I enjoy her writing, and although I enjoyed this one, it didn't get me as emotionally as others do. Does that make sense? It didn't sort of affect me emotionally like some of her others have done. Vic Kemp is a self-taught artist. His pictures have had some appeal. Subject matter, mainly semi-clad females. He's also a notorious womanizer. On top of this, he's a single father to 4 children. Netta, Susan, Goose, whose real name is Gustav, and Iris. His wife Martha died shortly after Iris was born. So he's a single dad. The children's childhood, you could sort of describe it as a bit haphazard. Au pair after au pair after au pair, because Vic would sleep with them and then they'd go. They were left not really to fend for themselves, but they became a very self-contained unit. They looked out for each other. It was sort of like us again, them against the world. And then as they grew old, as they grew up, Netta took care of Vic's business, legal affairs, because she trained to be a lawyer. Susan took care of his domestic life. She married a much older man and became stepmom to his twin boys. Goose took care of his studio, looking after his materials, ordering stuff, all that sort of, that type of thing. Goose had tried to be an artist, failed and had a breakdown, and he sort of sought sanctuary in his father's studio. And Iris, she almost became small. She was almost invisible, the little one. She was the only one that Vic ever painted. Out of all 4 children, she was the only one that Vic ever painted. And then in his 70s, Vic suddenly announced that he was getting married to Bella May. Bella May, an artist, but also someone who was 6 years younger than Iris. Family, the four siblings, horrified. And they just ignore it. And they go, just ignore Dad, she'll go away. All the other women in Vic's life, they've been sort of like passing fads. This one will be as well. She'll disappear. We'll just ignore it. But then Vic takes Bella May to his villa on Lake Orte in Italy. And because that's where he's going to be painting his masterpiece. And again, the kids refuse to go. No, she's a passing fad. It'll fizzle out. Then they get the text, the photograph of Bella, May and Vic with the marriage certificate. And they still refuse to go over. And then they get the phone call that Vic has drowned. And then they have to go over. When they get to the island, to the villa, it's the first time that they have ever met Bella May. And Netta is convinced that Vic's death is not an accident. There is no way her father, a very strong swimmer, would have gone out when there was a mist falling in the early morning. It was something he never did. He never sailed, never swam in the lake when there was a mist. She's also convinced that Bella May had been poisoning him slowly. So she's determined to solve this mystery of her father's death. She's also determined to find the will that has gone missing, the painting that has vanished, this painting that he was going to do that has vanished. This mystery that she's got to solve. But on the island, the 4 siblings slowly start to unravel. There are secrets, there are disagreements, cracks appear in this unit that they've had all their lives. Everything slowly unravels. And it's interesting that, as well as all the secrets, you see the effect that Vic had upon each of his children in very different ways. And it was interesting to see the role that Bella May takes in this unravelling. While not my favourite of her books, I enjoyed the way that she turned these 4 siblings who had been so close into almost total strangers. Out of the 4, my favourite was definitely Goose. His story, his arc, and the damage that Vic had done to him, I found just so sad. So, this is Rachel Joyce's new one, The Homemade God. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed these 4 siblings and watching their relationship. And came out a couple of weeks ago. So, happy reading. Take care.